Joe Cordina with a price tag?
Y'all, man, 2 cents be on point. She be on point, bro.
Appreciate it.
Blonde,
Appreciate
it.
it.
Talking facts. Like you're the first one to say it.
Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Jay, and this is our 2 cents, where we talk everything boxing, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's video, we will be talking about Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina fight being on pay-per-view. But before we do that, make sure you punch that like and subscribe button, and make sure you let me know and drop it below your 2 cents as I go throughout the video. Now, recently, Shakur Stevenson's latest matchup against Joe Cordina was announced as a pay-per-view event. And as you could imagine, it's been getting a lot of backlash. It's a lot of people asking, why is this fight on pay-per-view? Now, you hear people around and they're talking about Joe Cordina, and he was a champion, and he's been trying to fight Shakur since 130. So there's a lot of people interested in this fight, allegedly, but does it have the star power to justify it having a pay-per-view price tag? And you gotta ask yourself, like, Turkey, Eddie, they sat down at a table and looked at each other, and they was like, you know what? Let's make this fight pay-per-view. Like, why would the promoters push for this? Is this about, giving Shakur his first pay-per-view and giving them the spotlight he feels he deserves? Or are there other motives at play? I mean, you got to ask yourself. Because recently, I just watched an interview with Eddie Hearn and Andre Ward. And Andre Ward said that sometimes fighters are being set up to fail. He talked about putting fighters in situations where the deck is stacked against them, and whether that's in terms of marketability, fan support, or whatever the case may be. He was saying, basically, he was referring to Terrence Crawford about how Bob put him in pay-per-view fights, and he was saying that those fights were set up to fail. Now, honestly, that didn't really make no sense to me, but now I'm looking at this and I'm just using Andre Ward's words. Like, if I was Shakur, I would feel like, why would y'all put this card on pay-per-view when the whole selling point of this card was better bid than Bivol? So you took away the whole selling point of the card, and you're gonna give that card away free. I mean, you're gonna give that fight away free, but you're gonna charge for the rest of the card. So Andre Ward's words kind of resonate here as I'm thinking through this, because I'm just trying to make sense of it. Like, is this one of those situations that Andre Ward was talking about? Is Shakur being placed in a position where he's set up to fail? I mean, not in the ring, but in the court of public opinion, because there's a lot of people that they didn't really care for the fight already, and now you slapping it on pay-per-view where you think people gonna buy the fight. And even the people that's going around in YouTube streets and, trying to justify this, or say he getting a bag, or he getting $5 million for this fight. Like, I'm curious to know if they're going to buy the pay-per-view. Let me know and drop it below if you're going to buy the Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina fight. So let's break the fight down. Shakur Stevenson is highly skilled. He's an undefeated fighter. And even though Joe Cordina is a talented boxer, he doesn't have the same recognition or resume as Shakur Stevenson. So for all the people that's like, oh, Joe Cordina was a champion, and Joe Cordina was this, and Joe Cordina got knocked out by a sucker punch in his last fight. But, I mean, I guess some fans will like it. I guess it might make sense to some people, like the hard, super diehard fans, I guess, that really, really know who Joe Cordina is, and that's cool. But from a marketing and business perspective of this fight, is really raising some eyebrows. And I know a lot of people feel some type of way when you try to talk about the business of boxing, because they don't care. But I care. I say it all the time in my videos. I'm very interested in this, in the business of boxing. I think it's very interesting and it draws my attention. So a lot of the stuff I like to talk about is the business aspect of boxing. But there's a lot of people questioning whether this fight is pay-per-view worthy. It's a lot of people like, why would they do this? And there's a lot of people that don't think it's pay-per-view worthy. They barely want to see the fight. Now you asking me to pay for the fight. So this could backfire on Shakur, forcing fans to pay for this fight that they're really not interested in. And it could hurt his marketability in the long run. But my 2 cents is just that this move could damage Shakur's market value, forcing fans to pay for a fight that doesn't have the must-see factor. Like, people aren't really clamoring to see this fight. Most people are really just turned off. You know, they just really turned off about it. And you got to remember, and a lot of these fighters got to remember that you can be good and you can be skilled and you can have all these accolades, but boxing is not just about what happens in the ring. It's also about building your brand and your legacy and a loyal fan base, which Shakur Stevenson has alienated, dang, I can't even speak tonight. How you say that? Alienated some of his fans by saying F the fans on Twitter. He swear he wants to be a pay-per-view star and he's fighting for legacy, but this move right here kind of contradicts that. I mean, I'm gonna keep my eyes on it and see what he does next, but this move right here, I don't know if he's just trying to get a pay-per-view under his belt or if he's just trying to have some numbers. I'm not sure. Like, I really would like to call Eddie Hearn and be like, hey, yo, Eddie, why did y'all decide to put this fight on pay-per-view? I'm curious. Like, I really want to know. I really want to know. So, I mean, Shakur Stevenson has a lot of talent. He's a good fighter. He has the accolades. I just want to see him move in the direction of being this great star that he wants to be and building the fight so it can be a huge mega fight once he gets to Tank. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, he's gonna get $5 million for this fight. He's gonna get $5 million. And I've always kind of feel like that's an excuse people use when they're not fighting the best of opponents. And I'm curious, like, y'all getting all this money to fight these caliber of opponents. Why would you ever step it up? Why would you ever really just challenge yourself? Because it's starting to be more and more obvious that your goal is to make a bag. That's what your goal is. And some people saying, oh, Shakur have one off fight and now everybody want to criticize him. We're not criticizing him because he had one off fight. He's getting the criticism because of the things that he said leading up to this point. He left Top Rank. He wanted to get the big fights. He wanted to be a star. He didn't re-sign with Bob. He turned down the deal, the $15 million deal with Bob. Like, he did all of that. But your next move is to fight somebody moving up in weight, coming off a knockout loss. But what do you all think? Is this a smart play by the promoters, or are they setting Shakur up for failure? Does the fight deserve to be on pay-per-view, or is it a bad move that could damage his career? Let me know and drop it below your 2 cents in the comments. Follow me on IG at 2 Cents Boxing and follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 2 Cents 20. I'm Jay, and stay tuned for my 2 cents in the next video.